Welcome to Surf Dudes with Attitude. This is Pete from New York City. Welcome back, Zachariah.
Hello, it's me. I'm Zachariah from Tennessee. How's it been?
Zach, I've legit, I said this earlier before we started, before they pulled us out on stage in front of this roaring crowd, but I really missed you. I missed doing this with you. And it's only been a few weeks, but fuck, it was really weird to get back to this world. Welcome, but a little odd.
Yes.
Right?
Well, thank you. I'm glad to be back, and I missed you too. I said it also backstage before we got out here, and it's more official now.
It is. It's on the record.
Yeah.
So
we're being held accountable.
You were overseas, so you had to have thought about California Dreams at some point. So that this show fucking international, even though it's syndicated over there, but like there was a conscious thought over the Atlantic, dipping up through the Mediterranean Sea in Greece, and you were thinking about California Dreams.
Yeah, this was the first ocean that I had been to since starting this podcast with you, and so yeah, I'm on the ocean. I'm at beaches, and I'm thinking, man, this is. Maybe I am a surf dude, like a real surf dude.
Oh, for sure.
Maybe, and I was like, where's the nearest surf? And there's a lot of surfing actually in Greece. It's kind of closed down. Nobody's doing it right now because it's kind of a shoulder season. I got in the water and I was just looking, and everybody was like, we're not here yet. But I'll go back.
Nobody can prove me wrong that maybe there was a speck of sand that you were standing on that Matt or Jenny stood on during the intro of California Dreams. It's possible.
That is possible. I brought a little rock back, from one of the beaches. And I like to imagine that maybe someone from Greece visited California and they took a little rock.
Okay.
From California, and they're just like two logging trucks missing each other. Even crazier. Crazier. What could be possible is if that same person who took that California rock from the California beach said, "You know what? I'm going to give it a new home in the Mediterranean," and they just kind of tossed it. They were driving along on their European moped. And they said,
a message in a bottle almost.
And they just flung it over their shoulder, and then
its way to you.
20 years later, I pick it up and I'm like, I'm going to bring it back to California, or the surfboard shaped state, at least. Tennessee.
Yeah. So is this a pet rock now, would you say?
I've pet it a time or two, if that's what you're asking. We've become acquainted.
Yeah. I was working at the bar last night. I'm a bartender in New York City, and a girl who's sitting there, I've been serving her for a couple hours, and she opens her palm, and she has 3 rocks on there, and I guess they're crystals. And she's like, pick a crystal, and I will tell you what it means about you. And so I pick one, and she's like, oh, that's not the one I thought you were gonna pick. I don't really have. I'm not prepared for the one that you chose. And I was like, "Is this tiger eye?" And she's like, "I don't know." And I was like, "This is the most disappointing crystallized rock reading I've ever gotten. I have it in my pocket still. It is tiger eye.
Wow, tiger eye. I think
she kind of. Yeah, I'm gonna put it right here. She kind of gave me a reading, and it sounded nothing like me. So maybe the crystals aren't charged.
What did she say?
That happens. She said something like, basically, like, I make the best of situations, and I always have a positive attitude about it.
Oh.
I wanted to say that and see your face contort to like a, ooh, well, that's okay. I'm feeling good about tonight, and tonight's episode of California Dreams. But I mean, we should acknowledge the elephant in the room is that last episode you were not here.
True.
Because, and it was of no fault of your own. It wasn't even your trip. We had a fiasco mishap, misscheduling with a guest, and last minute you couldn't make the episode. So I think you watched it. You probably took notes on it.
I have extensive notes.
It was a rough episode. It was episode 2-3, I think, because we have found out that the timeline is a little messed up, but it's called
wonky.
Wooing Woo. And we did it with our good friend Mike Zucker, who runs his own podcast called Denver Rock Scene. And he filled in for you beautifully. Didn't dress up at all. Lame.
What a faker.
But, I mean, we sent him over the requirements to be on this show as a guest host, but
and that wasn't
it got
that
lost
slipped
in
through
mail,
the cracks.
I guess so.
Interesting.
He did a good job, but
Good.
not as familiar with all of our California Dreams knowledge as you are. So maybe you can just give us a brief catch up on the episode, what you thought of it, just like ever so brief, and then we can get in the new one, just so everyone's on the same page. Is that okay?
Yeah. Let me make sure.
Well, I mean, while you look that up,
let me look up a summary of the episode.
while you look that, I'm going to try to put my hand back here. So, like, behind me, this shrine is up, and we're actually recording this on Mother's Day. So, a big shout out to Melody Garrison.
Yes.
As the matriarch of the show that's no longer with us. I mean, in the show, she's still alive. She still has blessed this podcast.
And the actor is still alive. And
she is Gail Ramsey. Yes.
Yep.
And Sly's creeping out from behind her, if you can see. So
I can see.
You can see all of this on Surf Dudes with Attitude podcast.com. That's where you can support the show on Patreon. And then, check that out. surfdudeswithattitude@gmail.com if you have any questions or comments, or you want to contribute to the ever-growing shrine behind me. So, with that said, Zach, the last episode was basically everyone trying to have a gangbang with Samantha, the new addition to their band. It was an unfortunate episode, but at least there was some music in there, not like this week's episode.
Right. That's the real elephant in the room. Is the lack of music in this episode.
There's not one thing about bands in this episode.
I think the first thing that struck me, and I think it's going to continue to strike me as I watch this intro that is already so alarming and unsettling to see.
Take your time.
With season 2, I will not get used to this intro. But the complete replacement of Jenny with Samantha now.
It's our replacement theory that we're always talking about.
Oh, this is
This is the great replacement.
This was it. It's Jenny and Samantha the whole time. Yeah, and they just replace her but keep it the same, like we wouldn't notice.
Sure.
It felt disrespectful. But I think I like Samantha so far. I don't know. There's not a lot to her personality that we've seen other than that she talks really quickly, and that's supposed to be annoying or like
quirky, at least.
Quirky, right?
Yeah.
Depending on the character's reaction. And then that whole first episode with her, she's got quite the welcome. It's not cool. She's kind of just getting harassed the whole time, and a lot of casual racist stereotypes going on that continue through this episode. And I imagine the season and show.
I have to think at some point they're gonna let go of it. I hope so.
I hope so.
Because it's usually Sly doing it. You know, in the first episode, they all might have stumbled a bit with the cultural differences, but this one is just full blown, and it's she's an exchange student, but she doesn't act like one either. Like, she doesn't have an accent. She's literally just an Asian girl. And that is the extent of it. It doesn't have legs to begin with, so I'm really hoping that it's growing pains until we figure it out, or until she, sits with her character a little longer and finds something more than talking really fast, and coming from a different country that Sly may or may not completely understand.
Yes, and that our audience, there's at least one of these moments where the audience kind of like groans or like gasps when the racism takes place.
Mm-hmm.
I was like,
good.
Okay.
Some growth.
I mean, yeah. I was like, I think overall they're trying. The punchline is that these California kids are naive and don't know. Like, I think the show doesn't. The show has written in these racist jokes,
mm-hmm.
but it feels like the punchline is supposed to be that this is, I don't know, but it's not. They're never funny, so it's like, what? I don't know what the point is, other than just showing that like Sly is insensitive and doesn't get it.
But
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't feel like we're supposed to laugh that she is Asian. We're laughing that they don't understand Asian culture.
That Tokyo is not a part of Hong Kong.
Exactly.
Right. And we're gonna drill that in. This is like the third Godzilla reference.
Yeah, we're gonna get into it, but yeah.
So again, we don't like, the only consistent thing is inconsistency with California Dreams. We don't know how long she's been there. We don't know how long the band has had her, and that's gonna spill over into this episode, which I think we should get into. What do you think, man?
I think let's do it.
All right. Oh, I missed it. I was hoping you would just yell that across the sea and I could hear you. So
you didn't hear me? Oh, I was screaming it aloud.
You must have. You were singing it into your didgeridoo, and I missed it. I'm sorry.
That's right. But, I bring it everywhere.
I will say that on the last episode, we did the game with Mike Zucker, and we're like, what do you think this is about? And we gave him just the name. And with just the name, Mike, who's like a real life PhD physicist, he like nailed the episode.
Really?
He got all the plot points. And like, you can listen back where he's like, it probably has to do with Jake, because Jake looks like a motorcycle rider, having never seen the show. And he's like, and Sly's always like a shit, so he probably takes Jake's bike and probably, crashes it, and he probably hurts one of the band members. And I was like,
no way.
Yes, he got like all 4 bullet points correct. He didn't say anything about time travel or spaceships or pirates' booty, like, how you have gone in the past, where you just swing for the fences.
All right, so this is our new replacement.
We'll just call him
theory. It's just gonna be he's gonna replace me. It's gonna be in the same set. He's gonna start dressing as the characters, and everybody's you and George are just gonna act like nothing is going on. Yeah, kind of like how we're acting like George isn't absent.
Oh yes, I guess we should mention that George is absent this week, and that's okay. We're starting really late because of some scheduling issues, and George is. He's the dad, but he's letting us go to some sleepover, and we're gonna meet up with him in the morning when he's gonna come pick us up, and we'll go to Bob Evans. Okay,
that's right. That's right.
So George is here in spirit. I'm gonna get
2 orders.
We miss him. So we're gonna talk about the episode called Sleazy Rider. Depending on which timeline you're looking at, it's either episode 4 or episode 5. We're just gonna go with 4, because last week was 3. It came out on October 2nd, 1993. Speaking of the intro real quick, who was on the skateboard in this intro? There's a brief shot of somebody on a skateboard. You just see their calves. I know it's supposed to be like cool, hip California young people stuff, but there's, as far as I know, there's nobody on the show that skateboards. You have any thoughts?
I'm actually checking it out. I want I want to see.
Okay.
I'm watching it here. We can watch it together. I can turn it.
Okay.
You see it?
Oh yeah. I from this angle, and it's pretty far away. I can already see
There it was.
that Tiffany is playing the wrong notes on the bass. So
Yeah, for sure. Yep, it happens right after that. Kelly Packard and skate.
Okay, so they're skating on some kind of one of the Hollywood stars, the Walk of Fame stars, right?
Yeah, I wonder if we can find out who it is.
Oh, I want to bet it's like Peter Angel or something.
Charlie Chaplin. No,
Does it say
Bob Burnquist. It's
Bob Burnquist, the skater? That's hilarious.
yeah. Okay.
Wait, what is it? Oh, okay. It doesn't say anything.
It doesn't
say
anything.
It doesn't. It looks like a green screen that this skateboarder is on.
Yeah, typical California Dreams.
Okay, so
stuff.
do you think that they hired a skateboarder for the day from B-roll, or they just one of the grips, one of the best boys, skated to work as you do in California, because that's how we do it in America. If you're listening from Greece, what do you think?
I just think the next shot also includes
The
Star
next shot also features a star,
with Samantha Wu.
but it's like a Star Search star.
Yeah. I've been watching these characters walk for a long time, and I'm not saying that dictates how they're going to skate, but I'm pretty confident that these feet belong to no member of the California Dreams.
Damn. Even Tony, who might be a go-kart champion.
These are not Tony's sneakers.
All right. Wow. So can you tell in your expert knowledge which one of these people would be Goofy Foot? Or who's pushing Mongo?
Well,
Sly would push Mongo.
unless this person is left-handed,
All right.
they are not goofy-footed.
Okay.
You feel me?
I sometimes take solace in the fact that nobody else has ever had this conversation that we're having.
Yeah.
Nobody. It makes me feel good, if I'm being honest. So
Yeah, in a world of where we're just kind of recycling everything, and everybody's brains kind of eventually do the same stuff, and you know,
yes,
jokes and all of what you're saying. I'm just expounding on the feeling that you have right now.
expound me in the ass.
I've been waiting.
Stop.
This,
But you're not wrong.
Truly.
This intro is so jarring. Still, it's we're 4 episodes in, and it's a masterclass of cheese. Just every single type. It is the first. I don't know how many times I have to reiterate, but the first season intro is cheesy, but it's family sitcom cheesy, and it's acceptable for the time. This one, I really hope they change by the 3rd season, but we're stuck with this for the duration of the 2nd season for sure, and it's so dumb. There's no outside shots. It's all on a green screen. There's
no way that they're gonna not change it, right? Especially because Matt's not gonna be around for season 3.
Yeah. Oh
so
God,
like,
can you
there's
do the
no
Matt
way.
thing? Can you do it? You know what I'm talking about when he goes like this.
And he's just like,
can you find it on? I'll cut this out. Can you find it on your phone when he just does this backwards? Like he arcs up his
it's the best.
His ribs are just
right right here.
Okay. Oh
yeah. I feel like they did Matt dirty with that one.
They did. You know, he had to have been filming all day, and he had to have been like, no, that's not what they chose. Brentley Gore seems like a really cool, down to earth, self-aware guy, and if we can get him to your house for the season 2 finale to play the California Dreams board game, I'm going to demand he does that just constantly. You know, it's going to be like, so surreal.
Yeah, because I mean, given the direction, it's probably, you know, it's just like give a laugh. You're just kind of like,
there's no way that was a genuine laugh. They slowed it down. You're right. They did him dirty. Somebody was fucking with him.
They did him dirty with that one.
They're all cheesy though, so maybe not. Maybe the editor really thought like this is what kids like.
No, because the rest are cheesy in their own way. Like Tiffany's always cheesing. She's always kind of
yes.
And then Samantha Wu kind of same, at least so far what we know. Like she's kind of bubbly. I don't know. Tony and Sly pretty much show their personalities in these intros. Matt
Jake too. He does a solo.
Jake too. Yeah, and he gives a like I'm cool. Look at in the
Matt
camera.
could have at least. So he's not like the main singer in this season.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's like they could have given him a microphone or something. I cringe every time.
He's such a Magoo.
Yeah,
he's a Magoo in this.
Guys, we're still stuck. We're not gonna ever get over this intro, but we're gonna try to push ahead for you guys. Our great listeners.
We had to stick on the intro because it's really the only musical segment in this episode.
About that,
I'm upset too because this episode has rivalry in it, and this between Mookie. Very cool guy.
Titular, yeah.
Not real smart, but you know. And Jake. Why doesn't Mookie have a band? Why wasn't this a battle of the bands or a like?
I'll tell you why, Zach.
Tell me, why was this a motorcycle competition as the A plot?
Because Mookie is literally twice the age of Jake. Mookie is 34 in this episode, while Jake is supposed to be 17. Do you think that'd be a fair fight?
No more than a motorcycle competition.
Which we don't get to see at all.
Which we don't get to see. But you think about the first Battle of the Bands that I ever played, I was 16. And the bands were all over the place. But some of the bands were in their 30s.
So double the age. Okay.
So this was it happened. You know, you had, and we were maybe the youngest band, if not. We had the youngest members if we weren't like overall the youngest.
Sure.
Anyway, it's possible. It's possible. Okay. They could have done it this way is what I'm saying. The motorcycle thing could have been a B plot or like a reason why Tony's hurt. He can't play the drums. I know they've done that, but
we're kind of spoiling, but it's like a spoiler. It makes almost zero sense to have this competition. It's one thing if Jake has a bike, he needs a part, goes to San Diego, literally nothing else would change about it. There's only one sight gag where Sly is really into a girl and she happens to be a biker babe, and then he gets beat up at the end. There's no other catalyst to have these other bikers in the episode. So maybe it was a plot that they just kind of abandoned most of, and that's why this episode seems so filler. But I digress. We're gonna start at Sharkie's, and we know that this competition is going on because we see the magic poster, the magic plot narrative poster, which we've seen a few times. One of the times being the Battle of the Bands episode in episode 2. You know exactly what the episode is going to be about because there's somebody just staring longingly at a poster on the Sharkie's wall.
Mm-hmm. This is the big happenings. We know.
So where is it taking place? Where is it taking place then?
This motorcycle competition?
Yes.
It's at Sharkie's. Everything happens at Sharkie's.
It's in the parking lot.
In the parking lot at Sharkie's. Yeah, I think absolutely. That's how else would they know about it? They don't go anywhere else.
What is his business plan? Is just allowing literally any event to take place on his premises, even if it's not inside. You got a show, we'll move those fucking arcades out. You got a wedding reception to play, you can take the go-kart path in our backyard.
Big time.
You want to see how sad you are because everyone else has a relationship? Chill out in our vestibule and you'll see people making out. Mm-hmm. It's really the one-stop shop for growth and competition. So
Yeah, I admire Sharkie in that way. And I mean, it drives up business. You think about this. We're seeing a whole new demographic here. We haven't seen this much leather at Sharkie's
it's the California
ever.
Nightmares, I think.
I think since the California Nightmares. True indeed.
If you're not on Patreon, you can't see Zach right now. Zach is dressed up as the character Mookie, who shows up in this scene as well. But I also can't help but notice you're sitting pretty cool, Zach.
Yeah, it's really all a part of it. It's really like an attitude thing.
Are you perhaps cosplaying as this first scene where both Jake and Sly are Rikering in a chair? Is that the word? I think they're both sitting backwards on a chair. Now, when you sit down, do you immediately turn the chair backwards and sit? Have you ever done that?
Depends on what kind of jacket I have on. If it's leather, though, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I didn't know.
I'm in a
learning.
love seat currently, and I tried it before I pressed record, and I'm
You
not
tried to turn the
I'm
love
not
seat
that
around?
flexible.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah, I had to compromise on this one, but I felt like this little, you got to wear the jacket. If you don't wear it, it'll wear you.
That's the Bugle Boy motto.
Yes, sir.
So we briefly touched on this, but and since you weren't with us last week, how long do you think Sam has been in the band? I guess technically still living at the Garrison household, although we don't see a house shot. We only see the garage in this episode, but she seems pretty comfortable. Do you think it's been months at this point?
It feels like months.
Okay. Yeah.
Not so many months, but like two or three.
I know there's going to be some more school stuff, but as of right now, I guess they're going to school, and we're back to where we were like the whole first season, where we don't know is this a weekend, because Jake goes out of town. He's supposed to leave for a night. I don't know why it takes that long, because we found out San Diego is only a couple hours away, right?
Yeah, he's got to go pick up a part from his cousin's place. So maybe he was going to just have some family time, but he was able to turn around pretty immediately and come
We
back.
don't know
Not to spoil
anything
it,
about.
but you're
we
right.
We don't know anything about Jake's background, who his parents are, who his cousin is, why he has a Brooklyn accent sometimes.
Yeah, he has a mom and he has a cousin. So this family tree is we're starting to grow some branches.
There's some roots there.
Absolutely.
So when Mookie first comes in, there's some kind of rivalry, and this is kind of like a Bradley and the Billionaire situation where supposedly there's history between these two, but I legit thought Mookie was Jake's uncle right away, because he gives off the uncle vibes, and he's probably as old as an uncle would be as well. Yeah,
he might be as old as Dick Garrison.
Mm-hmm. Older, actually, depending on what source you're citing. This is also where we get us. I think this might be the second or third official Googamoo saying that Tony says. He's looking at some biker babe and he says Googamoo, but he says it in such a nonchalant way. He's like, you ever get that Googamoo about that? Like, there's no context to it.
That's right. I forgot. I nearly forgot that is Tony's.
You
new
promised
thing.
you were going to start using it, and I need you to take it to all the countries that you're visiting, okay?
Yeah, you know what? It might have slipped out once or twice while I was in Greece.
Because this is how we Googamoo it in America.
Yeah. I did say baboom after tipping.
That's what, when you went to customs, that's what you declared.
Exactly. They're like, that'll be all, sir. Welcome to our country. I said, baboom. People loved me there.
Oh, no, it's a bomb. Get this guy off the plane.
Yeah. Yeah, I was detained. I lost a few days of
that's why
exploration.
That's why he wasn't on the last episode. But
yeah, I was supposed to be back weeks ago.
So I guess there's only two goddamn sets in this. Oh, three. There's Sharkie's, the garage, and the hospital room in this fucking episode. So we're gonna go to the second one. We're gonna go to the garage.
We're at a hospital now.
And like, I didn't know how old Jake was in this, But he had said he's been working on his bike since he was 14. All right.
Yep.
But then he says like 3 years down the drain later. So
You
Jake
do the
is
math, baby.
17, the eternal 17 that all these kids are stuck at, basically, like picture Dorian Gray style. Tony's outfit in this scene looks like a color board at a paint store. That's what I noticed. It's that big block colored outfit that you love so much, Zach. And anyway,
I do love it.
Jake is leaving town to go get a part, as Zach said, and he makes a big deal about nobody. Well, I don't know why he's parking his bike there. It's so the plot can happen.
I think so. The plot can happen. There's not because he has. Yeah, I don't know. He's got a mom who also rides. So where does she keep her bike? Is she out of town? We don't know.
Is she out of town getting a part for her bike too? And this is. Do you think Jake actually has parents, or this is just something that he makes up? Do you think he loves his bike so much because he doesn't have any familial love?
Ooh. I do feel like there's a past that Jake has.
Well, when did he say he had a mom that rides a motorcycle? Did I completely miss that?
It was like it was the first episode he was in. He was like, I got to get out of here. It was when he and Matt were riding together, and he's like, I got to get out of here. I got to go pick my mom up. And Matt was like, on your bike? And he's like, yeah, because her bike's in the shop.
Oh, wow.
Underwhelming. I don't know what I'm going to. You're welcome. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Can he dress as Jake's mom?
I don't know how I'm going to use all of this knowledge that I now have. Remember this quote from several episodes ago? Yeah, well, I do remember why they... Yeah, I needed it now. Exactly. He's got a mom who rides a motorcycle whose bike was in the shop a few episodes ago.
Yes. And so bike's very important to him, and I guess his entire family. He tells everybody not to fuck with it. He leaves, and literally maybe 35 seconds later, Sly is on the bike, saying he's just gonna ride it out to the drive. Like Jake has to be literally within spitting distance, and
yeah,
of course he crashes it. And I gotta say, although we didn't see any of the action, this definitely seemed like probably the biggest stunt episode that we've seen yet on California Dreams. Like, he probably had to get coached about how to, both of them had to get coached on how to like sit on a bike and like at least start a bike, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think Jake rides. I would imagine. So? I think the actor knew how to ride.
We gotta ask him. We're
gonna have to. You know, I ride, Pete.
I didn't know that. You ride a motorcycle?
It's been a while. But I do.
You had your license?
I have my license.
Like a real motorcycle license, not like a moped or a electric.
It was
bike.
A real one. It was a real one.
Was it a crotch rocket, or was it like an old school?
I could tell what he has. I could tell by his riding that he was comfortable
really?
With it.
Please tell.
I could tell that he was comfortable. No, I don't know what he has. I misspoke. I can tell he's comfortable riding.
Okay.
It's not. Yeah, you got to kind of know how to ride to even just like pull in controlled into a very small space and turn it and come into a sweet landing like he did.
If there was ever an episode to get Michael Aaron back on where we can ask him motorcycle questions,
I know
it's this one.
I know. I this. I have a bike and I even wrecked it.
Just like this.
This is very, this was a very, I had flashbacks. This happened almost identically.
Yeah.
Almost identical to this. Do you want to hear about it?
Yes.
Okay.
Which one of your band did you run into?
You know what? I was all alone.
Okay.
But I was happy to be so. I had just gotten it maybe a few months prior, and I had taken lessons and everything before getting your license. It's easier to get your license. You have it's cheaper insurance and all of that if you have official lessons for it. And I was glad to do so. But everybody there told me it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. You either crash or lay your bike down because you're inexperienced.
No, yeah.
Well, my day was coming. I was on my way to work from my parents' house.
A few days later.
Yeah, just the next day. The next day, I'm on my way to work. I was listening to Wanderer by Dion, which I feel like is an important, not Celine Dion, just
Celine Dion.
Just Dion.
Dion Sanders.
No, I love Celine.
Audiobook.
Don't besmirch her name. But The Wanderer, it's all about wandering. You know what I mean?
When you say you were listening to it, was there like a stereo in this bike, or would you have earbuds in?
I had earbuds in.
Isn't that illegal?
Cabled earbuds underneath my helmet. It is a little bit illegal. I was a bad boy back then.
You're a bad boy.
I was really bad boying it up. You know, I was living at my parents'.
Doesn't care about other people on the road.
I was a fresh 20. I know. And I take off and I'm feeling good. It's morning time. I'm headed to work. I'm ready to take the day on. Mm-hmm. And I take off. I take a right out of my parents' house. We live out in the country, 1-lane road. Mm-hmm. And I'm going, and I start to curve my first left, and it's a blind curve, so I'm taking the outside just so as to avoid anybody that might be coming around that bend, you know. And I realize I've made a fatal mistake.
Okay.
I have left my kickstand down, and the next 2 seconds happened. It felt like eternity. I feel this kickstand. It starts to scrape on the ground as I start to turn left, and so I straighten up, and then I kick it closed, and I'm midway through this curve already on the outside, and I turn it and I try to stop, slow down, and put on both brakes. You're supposed to do your back brake and your front brake at the same time. It's very important, unless you're on gravel or mud or dirt. And I put on both brakes just as my front tire was coming off of the pavement into the mud, off the road. And the bike slid out from underneath me. My headphones snapped. Wanderer immediately went silent, and I skidded on my helmet about 12 feet down the road. And and then I died. I spent a few days in the hospital with a cast on, and my candy striper nurse fell in love with me.
Which
or
one?
Maybe I fell in love with her.
Okay. The one in your band, or the one you don't want?
We're unsure. Both, actually. It always comes in pairs.
Well, wow, I didn't know this episode was going to be quite so traumatizing, but that is eerily similar. And it was funny because I actually thought, I was like, wait, Sly knows his way around a bike too, because of the way he kind of effortlessly kicked that kickstand up. I literally thought that during the episode. And there goes to show that Sly knows more than you about how to handle a bike. Do you think that stopped you?
All right.
Do you think that stopped you from continuing? Do you think that was a speed bump, if you will, in your bike career?
You know what?
It's pretty traumatizing.
I did continue to ride for several years after that. The bike did not suffer as much as Jake's did. It had some tweaked handlebars. I worked at a steel shop at the time, so we were able to fix it up and straighten things out. So it leaked oil forever and still kind of does. Okay. I still have it, but it sat over over a winter, and I haven't started it back up for a while, several years.
Do you miss it?
I do miss it. It. It's a lot of fun, and it's an old one. It's a CB Honda 1973.
Sounds like an iChart.
Yeah. It's pretty it's pretty cool. If anybody wants to buy it, I am selling it.
That's definitely not what this podcast is about, sir.
No, I'm gonna take advantage of this. So if any of those listeners out there, it's only crashed once. I redid the gas tank, so it's got skull and crossbones on it. It looks pretty sick.
I mean, sick. I mean,
I know
now it's memorabilia. I don't know if you want to give it away so easily.
Well, the price is going up as we speak. I'm happy to say. For me,
I'm glad you're okay.
Thank you.
Tony, on the other hand, not okay. Who we don't see in the
story
shot.
Too long?
No, I'm just.
Are you gonna cut it out entirely?
No, I'm not. I'm curving around the left-hand side now.
All right, mate. Watch the kickstand.
Okay, good. Kick that up, baby. We're gonna go. So Tony gets injured. I guess we go to the hospital. There's a lot of physical comedy in this episode, Zach. But I knew it was coming because there they were on the hospital bed, and they had the little button presser thing, and it never fails when there's a sitcom and a hospital. We're gonna have some kooky nurse thing, and then we're also gonna have like some bed antics going on. Absolutely. It was like the automatic, like the Craftmatic adjustable, like were beds that moved on their own just that funny in the 90s? It's such a novel thing that people just lost their goddamn minds over.
Apparently. Yeah, I'm sure there's a list. I want to see a compilation of every time a bed has gone haywire and tried to eat
you know what it was? We lost water beds, and we as a country were mourning. And instead of mourning properly, we're like, quick, like we need something else to replace this void. And there it was. It was Craftmatic adjustable beds. Just see those old people that haven't fucked in like 20 years just sitting up. One's like eating a fucking tray of dinner, and the other one is like reading a dictionary. And nary the twain shall meet. You know, there's two sides of the bed, and there are two different fucking adjustments. They're not fucking.
Not at the same time.
Did you hear what this nurse said? So we see the nurse that comes in. They press something button. I guess there's one button that makes the bed go fucking haywire, and then the other button brings in a really unattractive nurse. So they hit the ladder, and yes, we see this for the rest of the episode. They just make fun of this poor nurse, who I guess is in love with a teenager, which is problematic.
There's a lot. I always wonder. I always feel bad for for a lot of reasons, but like for people who like often character actors who play the punchline, you know,
who play the quote unquote ugly person. Yes.
Yeah. And it's just like, hey, all the jokes are going to be at your expense. We're going to have fat and ugly jokes at you.
They're named like Helga or Olga or like Ruben or something like that. It's all very formulaic, and again, the show's for children, and we totally understand that. And normally we talk about cool band stuff, but sometimes we're just gonna have to suffer through this shit. You know it? Because we're a bunch of Scuzzbuckets. Because that's what the nurse says in this. Another Scuzzbucket. I
do love that term. I won't get tired of that anytime soon. But I wonder how it is on set. When it's supposed to be, I've done a little bit of acting, and I've had to act in certain ways or treat people certain ways, but it's never been in a positive light, you know, when it's been, so I haven't been put into the position of having to like tell a joke or do something that's like, no, the audience is going to love this. Yeah. Sorry that you're the ugly one in this episode.
Lean into it though, sure.
But like, you know, so like how awkward it is for everybody. If it was awkward, if it's, you know, like Tony's like repulsion at her the whole time. And it's like, she's standing right there. Like this person playing this
she even
role
says so. She's like, I can hear you.
Yeah. It's like,
it's odd when Matt says a fat joke about her. And I'm Matt, this does not match your personality. You know,
Matt's been slipping this season. Yeah. I mean, the wooing woo, he's no better than the others.
No
really.
Better.
And you know, and now the fat jokes too. It's like he's got a few checks against him for the first season, but this second season,
time's up, Matt.
does feel a little bit like, oh man, they're no longer worried about writing you as the sympathetic
No, you're right.
moral
They.
compass.
You think they have like an end game out for Matt? Because like I just don't see him as having a purpose this season. Now that we have these new characters to kind of like dig deep in, it's just Matt is kind of like Matt's old hat, basically.
Yeah.
And you know what? I liked you better when you were fat. That should have been his line.
Yeah.
Can we talk about Sly's shirt for the entirety of this episode?
Yeah.
Because at first, and you didn't get a good glimpse of it, but this scene, he's wearing some kind of vest and there's guitars on the front. And there's just this enormous face on the back that you don't see until later. It's like Elvis.
Yeah. I wish I had that to wear.
Do you think Sly's like an actual Elvis fan? Like he's listened to Heart of Rome? Like he like really likes Elvis? I don't buy it. He did not dress himself in this.
No, I don't think he likes Elvis that much. I think it's like the way a lot of people wear like Rolling Stones, you know, the logo.
Oh,
is
okay.
there,
They got
or
it
like
at H&M or something.
Yeah, where it's just like this is just a style. This is just an aesthetic.
It's a choice.
You know,
we'll always give Sly that. There's a Marky Mark reference in this scene too.
Oh yeah,
it's a few years after his racist tirade and putting somebody in a hospital by blinding them, putting them in a coma. I fucking hate Mark Wahlberg. I always have. I think he's like a meat. What?
I don't think I knew about that first part you said.
What? Which part?
How he put somebody in a coma and his racist tirade.
He literally went gay bashing, and he blinded somebody and put them in a coma. Look it up. He has never publicly apologized for it, but since he was in fucking Transformers, everyone gives him a pass.
What?
I will sit here and watch you Wikipedia this, and I want to contort your face to
Here
read
we
it.
go.
Even if I don't keep it in.
Mark.
Yeah. Marky Mark.
Mark Wahlberg, hate crime.
Hate crime. Yes. It was a Vietnamese. They went gay bashing. And then he got caught for it, and he was like, "Yeah, I did it because they were gay, duh." Like he like doubled down on it. He has said a lot of racist shit. He's from Boston, you know.
He got a SAG award. History resurfaces after SAG award. They were two Asian Americans.
Yeah. And, you know, his only defense really throughout the years has just been like, I found God. Pray up, baby. You know, that's his whole defense. Jesus just gives you like a clean slate. He's all like, so every time one of his movies comes out, I'm just like, fuck that dude, you know?
Yeah. Well, multiple hate crimes.
Yeah. He's a repeat offender. He's a recidivist.
What? Yeah. So he was six. Okay. In 1986, when Wahlberg was 16, a civil rights lawsuit was filed against him after several incidents of harassing black children for racial slurs and throwing rocks at them. The case was ultimately settled in 1992, 1 year before this episode aired.
1 year before this episode.
He repeatedly kicked a man in the face and fractured his jaw in another case that was, get out of here, ads. The case was settled. The incidents that followed Wahlberg the most, though not enough to materially impact his career, are his nearly fatal assaults on two Vietnamese American men in 1988. Oh, man. I won't go into the details of what happened here, but it's rough.
Yeah, he sucked. But
wow.
He still gets a reference about his underwear in California Dreams.
I did not know all of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the doubling down and the not, you know, fuck that. 16 is young. And
You can turn your life around after that, but
if he had done more to or said more about it or acknowledged it at any point, it might, there might, like, hey, people have a past. People have pasts. 16
Mookie's
is very young.
Mookie has a past.
Mookie definitely has a past.
Mookie has a past.
And that doesn't give him a pass that he was so young, but it's different. It's different than being a full-on adult. But if he hasn't, man, well, fuck him. That sucks. I mean, I'm not like a fan, so this doesn't like affect me the same way. So like, right, man,
I'll get you out of this. Don't worry.
That sucks. Remember The Happening?
Oh, do I ever? I love that movie. It's so stupid.
I kind of do too.
What? No. It's so.
That's my favorite part. That's my favorite part. That scene.
Okay, the best part of that movie he's supposed to be a science teacher. He's supposed to be smart. And literally in the first scene, somebody's like, well, why does this happen? He's like, science, we just don't know sometimes. It's probably the most realistic portrayal he's ever done. Like, he fucking knows. Oh, anyway.
That's great. Oh man, this was 1 year and 5 years before this, that they're just casually making a joke about him being an underwear model, and the Asian character is the one that wants to meet him and is obsessed with him. Together.
God damn it, that's right.
What?
I mean, Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch as a band, like, they were pretty big at this time. But, like, they sucked, right?
Bigger than his hate crime. I've never listened to them. I was aware that he did stuff.
Do you know what his bandmate's name was?
No.
You're bracing for impact, and you should. Because it's Hector, the booty inspector.
Oh.
It's the other guy in his band.
Okay. Charming.
Oh, he sucks. Also, in this scene, Matt, he's got a lesbian haircut. I wrote that down. So, it's shaggy and it's
in the
weird.
notes.
I don't know what he's doing with it. So, don't say that Matt doesn't have a purpose. This is his purpose.
Yeah.
It's where billowy blouses.
Yeah, he's our lesbian representation in this show.
Finally. Good.
Yeah.
We got all our bases covered.
Exactly. We're kind of expanding in our diversity here.
Mm-hmm. So Tony is in the hospital with a broken leg, seemingly, and at no point is somebody like, "Oh, we got a gig," and Tony can't play. Like, that could have been a plot point, him trying to play drums with a broken leg. I would have taken that. It's fine, but I guess
it would have been awesome. He could have had like his leg up, still in the cast, and just playing with one foot.
That would have been funny.
Come on.
They could have like mangled the drums so like the kick drum could be up high, like something. But I guess we learn.
I just hate how much easier, how easy it would be for us to make this show good.
I know. I mean, that's just as silly of a gag as it is. Sly running around Sharkie's getting beaten up by bikers, in my opinion. But
I agree.
Before we leave the hospital, we find out that Tony thinks that it's a really dumb subplot. Basically, Tony thinks that Tiff is into him and vice versa, and they're not. So, okay. And I've always said that bassists and drummers should never hook up outside of the rhythm section of a band. I'm
you feel
always
that?
saying that. Yeah, I do feel that.
Yeah, you are always saying that. I wish you'd live by it more, but
So Jake is in San Diego. This is taking a long time to get. What is it? It's a tail light, and without this tail light, he won't win the competition because I guess somebody would know the difference between a 1971 and 1973 tail light. Is that the joke? That's the joke.
That is the joke.
All right.
Because who would ever be able to tell that? And then Mookie came up and he could tell.
So he's supposed to spend the night. And see this family that supposedly he has that Zach has pontificated on. But he gets so excited that he comes back, I guess, the same day. And this is my question. when did all this happen? Did Jake leave at the crack of dawn in the garage? Sly is there early in the morning, gets in the accident. They go to the hospital that same day. Is that what's going on? And then Tony comes back that night because they're all wearing the same outfits. This is one day?
Yeah. Yeah, that's got to be one day.
Shit.
That's a long day.
Without the presence of school, the timeline goes out the fucking window here. So, this is also where Sly has a Chinese joke that let's gloss over. What is he? Fucking Mark Wahlberg? There's a hokey pokey joke. Did you laugh at that? Because it was a little physical. I was thinking of you during that scene. Everybody is watching him at Sharkie's do the hokey pokey because he's asking to learn kung fu from Sam because she's Asian.
And then she tricks him into doing the kung fu, doing the hokey pokey.
Yeah.
Putting his fist in, putting his fist out, putting his fist in, and shaking it all about.
And normally the background people don't acknowledge. They're all pantomiming and pretending to have conversations on their own. But this is one that they actually like watch him because the point is for him to be embarrassed, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it worked. And then Matt's like, "That's what it's all about."
Matt's a fucking punchline, and Matt has no purpose in this episode. He's scared of Jake, this guy he's in a band with. It's like
who he's kind of in love with, also.
Yes, they are. Yes, and you brought this up episodes ago that you were shipping these two pretty hard. I never shipped Tony and Tiff, but you big in the Tony and Matt, or sorry, the Jake and Matt.
Yeah. Camp. Yeah, big time. I mean, I haven't really, they have pretty little, they don't have a lot of interaction that matters since that first episode. I was hoping for more co-writing, and
we still got 11 more episodes of the season, buddy. So it's possible, but my question is, would you want to be in a band with somebody that you're just afraid of? Like, I've been to bands with somebody I hated for a long time.
Yeah, you have.
And that wasn't fun. But if it was somebody that I was under a physical threat of violence every time they got in a mood, I don't think that'd be conducive to a good band dynamic. You know what I'm saying?
No, I don't think so either.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I haven't experienced that either.
That's good. I'm glad. You're so lucky.
Yeah. I mean, not the violence part. I've been in bands with people I don't like.
Yeah. Sometimes it happens.
You know, rarely. It doesn't ever start that way. It always starts with liking them, but sometimes being in bands with people.
It's like a bad roommate you find on Craigslist. Like, they don't ever seem like a psycho at first. They slowly trickle it in.
Yeah. And you're like, oh, you're always going to eat my cereal? Oh,
they say it while they're yawning.
Yeah.
It's so passive aggressive of them.
I know. They barely even care about it. I'm sorry.
We're recording this episode pretty late for anybody listening. So we're going to jump to the hospital. Who brings him that? Somebody brings him a magazine of Sports Action magazine. Is that Sly?
Jake does.
The
swimsuit edition.
Yeah, but do you see when he first opens the centerfold? It's literally just a mountain range. There's no women in this whatsoever.
It felt like they definitely couldn't show anything, so it just was like the person on the cover has a bikini, and then that's it.
It's like the Ooh La La magazine from Back to the Future 2. Where it's just sports facts in the middle and then just the front cover. It's, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anyway, it's the reverse Gray's Sports Almanac. I figured I wanted you to take center stage from the film in the year 2000. For this scene, Sly hides behind the bed, starts fucking with the bed, and it's sandwiching Tony, who's in the bed, and everybody's breaking character and corpsing Did you enjoy this scene, Zach?
I know that I have in the past,
Yeah.
kind of created a reputation of loving the slapstick and physical comedy.
This is the most slapstick it's ever been.
It has often been my favorite part of episodes. And that was not lost on me. I was like, this is all here. I'm being hand fed.
Yeah.
Man, none of it tickled me.
Oh, damn.
I know.
Tony's laughing while this is happening. And Jake is trying not to laugh. And we can't see Sly, but he's probably laughing.
Yeah.
But Tony's supposed to be in pain, but it does not convey as much. You love the paint fight from the first season, but this did not.
I did love the
move
paint
the needle.
fight.
Yeah, interesting.
No, I think I missed Jenny.
You just missed Jenny. She was the element.
I think so. I think she was in a lot of those
one.
scenes. She was in the paint fight.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Yeah. I don't know. I really wish I know you've given me the center stage, and I wish I could just I wish I could be losing it right now. Just even just the thought of it, even just like talking about it and reminiscing about watching it, that I could just be like, God, so good. And maybe it's because it is a sort of a classic gag and a trope.
Yeah.
And maybe I've just seen it too many times. It's like the he's standing right behind me, isn't he? Like that joke that's like, that is a funny joke, and I remember loving that joke as a kid. But like now, by the time watching this and Matt does it, it's like yeah, that joke, like that's a classic joke. It's fine, and at the time was really funny.
I mean, you laughed. That's what makes it funny.
You're right. You're
So
right. I approved with my gigs.
We're gonna jump your gigs. We're gonna jump to the garage. Jake finally sees that his bike is all fucked up. He pulls the little.
It's so fucked up. Like there's I don't know how soon
there's a house plant inside the bike. Debris.
Like I don't know how soon the competition is, but the fact that he gets this thing back to riding, like, because when I took this tumble, like it didn't look like that. It didn't look like that at all. No, it was like the handlebars were a little tweaked, and like the back bumper was folded and like a little bit, and then no, it wasn't even the back bumper. It was the blinkers, which is like one of them got smashed.
I mean, it's not bad. Based on how you said the accident went down.
It wasn't bad because it went into the dirt. It was a soft landing. It went under the. It was me that hit the road, pavement. I took the brunt of the fall.
You should have seen the other road.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but this is like Saved by the Bell did this exact same plot where they take Mr. Belding's car and they wreck it, and then they have basically 3 days to fix it, and I guess Slater has to steal a water pump from the swimming team so he can put it in the car. Sure, why not? Same idea, basically. They have to fix this thing before the person gets back, and it doesn't work out in this scenario. Jake is pissed. He calls Sly a canker sore, which I think is a great insult. And then, so Sly is basically an asshole to everybody. He's he fucked Jake's bike up. He hit Tony, didn't really ever apologize. He blamed the whole thing on Matt. And there's this really funny scene that I don't know if you noticed, but like Matt gets upset with Sly. He tells him that, hey, you really hurt my feelings and you're a selfish friend. And then he does this like little prancing runaway to the door of the garage.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw it or you want to pull it up, but like I watched it a few times because it's like, what are you running to? It's almost like he started running and then he realized, like, wait, there's nobody chasing me. I don't need to run. I'm just upset. Like the emotion that you could convey that I'm upset could easily be attained by just walking away.
Yeah. Yeah. He just had to get out of there.
It was like exit stage left, but like somebody wrote in the action cues to like sprint away. Anyway.
Yeah. He's like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Is that what you meant when you said sprint? Did you mean just like saunter?
I could do it again. He's like, no, that's the take.
No, that was great. That was
great.
Perfect. Because there's not a stage left. It's upstage. He's in the shot the whole time.
I think they only brought back Tiffany being a candy striper just because it was going to be a hospital episode. She had that job before, and it was only in one episode, right?
Yeah. In the first episode. So wait. So is she not after this?
I don't know. But this is also happened in Saved by the Bell, where they made Kelly a candy striper, and it's only because Zach broke his leg and was in the same thing, and they had a hospital bed sandwiching scene as well.
Oh no!
That's what I think about the intro of this show. They literally just took the background images of Saved by the Bell. You know, one of the theme songs playing, and that's the entire palette that they used for this one. I don't like it.
Man,
I thought this show was resting well on its own merits. It did not need to be like retooled to be even more like Saved by the Bell.
No, it did not.
That's it.
I mean, the things that were good about it were the things that were different from Saved by the Bell.
Truth.
You know, the further away from Saved by the Bell, the better the show was.
I mean, hopefully we can get back there. Hopefully they can find their own voice.
Get the band back together.
This is weird, but
Jake and Sam are still new members. We still don't know what this version of the California Dreams sounds like.
What the hell do they bring to California Dreams other than Jake? he sounds, when he's not doing his Brooklyn accent, he sounds like he's chewing on taffy. Okay, and his
he does
his fucking solos, it's all just little kicks and knees popping and stuff. That's what every time he does a solo.
Yeah.
We need them to find their voice. So.
Oh, that's what I remember. Okay, so I know you asked me about notes on the last episode.
Sure. Yeah.
And this is as long as we're talking about the characters here, that like, what are they bringing to the table and everything?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We don't know yet about Sam.
Yeah.
She joined the band. She did not write anything that we know of. No. The song was already there. So the song Mama Said, this song, it's about a boy. Mm-hmm. It's about a girl who falls for a bad boy despite her mother's warnings. All right. This song was written before Sam got there, I'm reading my notes. Although we don't know how Mrs. Garrison felt about Jake, it can only be so. How did I write this?
Mrs. Garrison? What?
This song was written by Jenny about Jake.
Okay.
And the first time we hear it, Sam is singing it because Jenny is no longer in the band. But the lyrics are like, it's about a girl who falls for a bad boy. And so we don't know if Mrs. Garrison, what she thought of Jake, if she thought like, hey, you shouldn't go for him, which is what the song is about. It's like Mama Said and warned her.
So Melody is not into the idea of Jenny being into Jake.
Only by the lyrics that, we can surmise.
But the mouthpiece is Sam, right?
Yes.
What a flagrant plagiarist.
Isn't that crazy? That we have like such a song that is very like personal and very like, it has to be from Jenny had to have written that song.
And recently,
because Jake just joined the band.
Yeah. And
so she wrote
long enough that the mom
song.
would have an opinion about it too.
Yeah. And the episode before, Jake wrote this love song about Jenny. And so Jenny's written this love song about him. And then she's gone, and like, good for her. She's following her dreams and she's going, she's doing other things. But it's just weird to see like Sam's debut singing like kind of a very personal song that had to have been written by Jenny.
Yeah.
And I wish Jenny had gotten to sing this song and Sam had gotten to introduce herself with maybe one of her own songs, or a song
about coming to a new country and not knowing anybody, and then finding a family,
and how everybody's like sexually harassing me and being racist. You know, something like that.
Cool bridge. Yes.
Yeah.
Speaking of it, did you see? You were in Europe. Did you see Jenny when she was over there? You guys get
I was in Greece. She was in Italy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of overlap in history.
I wasn't sure. It's pretty close to each other, though, right?
They are close. They share a body of water.
True.
But no, I didn't see her. I was hoping to. I sure was.
You had a big fat Greek wedding over there. That's where I was hoping you and Jenny hooking up.
I had two of them.
Wow. That was nice of that wedding. Those two weddings of yours to link up, so you could only do it in one trip.
Yeah, wasn't that cool? I know. First of its kind.
So, I did notice something. So, this is rare in this show, and again, nobody gives a shit, but they were in the garage, right?
Yeah.
For Jake to see the bike. And then the next scene, they're in the garage.
Yes.
And I guess normally that's got to be a rule that you don't do that. You know, you don't start at Sharkie's and then go to the next Sharkie's scene. But this episode feels chopped up, and it feels like a fucking chum feeder episode. So we are back in the garage. Sly has changed his shirt, unless it's just later in the day. And he has brought over a model airplane and said, I worked on this for 5 months. I'm going to smash it. And Jake and Matt are giving him the silent treatment. The joke here is that it's not even his model airplane. But at no point did I ever fucking think that Sly would like be into model airplanes. It's just not even close to his personality. Not believable whatsoever.
Do you think it was his brother's? Do you think he has a brother?
This is the first time we've ever heard something about him having I guess it would be a little brother if they're into model airplanes, right?
Yeah, because he just says it wasn't even mine, so we don't, right? Isn't he? He
said it was his brother's, yeah.
Oh, he did say it was his brother's. Okay.
Yeah. So
he's got a brother. I did. So when he was like, when they were giving him the silent treatment, and he's like, "Come on, guys! If I wanted to be, ignored, I'd go home to my parents."
That's some dark shit.
That's super dark, and the only moment in this episode that I laughed.
I think me too. And like, Sly delivered it well, but like, Jesus Christ, that's a yikes.
Yeah.
I laughed at this scene for the other, like another wrong reason. It's when the scene opens up and Jake is. I mean, you're a steel fabricator. Jake is just hammering a piece of metal. Like, no rhyme or reason. As he's trying to fix something, he's just hitting metal.
He's just in a vise, and he's just hammering.
I don't know shit about fuck when it comes to bike maintenance or repair, but that I didn't buy that unless he's trying to bend a part. Maybe you would do that.
Yeah, if you're trying to bend it, you could be doing that for sure. But he wasn't hitting it in a way that it would bend. And then he just he takes it out of the vise while Sly is talking to him. And it's definitely one of those like actor, keep your hands busy doing a task thing. But like you're doing it in a way that's not the way that humans do it, like to achieve a task. Because he's just like he's polishing it. And he's just polishing like
motion? A section. Can you do that motion again?
This one? He's just polishing it, and then he's just.
Is that how
he's polishing a section of it?
Like you're shooting dice? Is that how you do it?
I'm just copying him. It depends. Is this my Kickstarter or someone else's? That depends on the grip.
I don't. If it's yours, it's probably down. I hate to tell you.
Come on, you know better than that.
I know.
He's anyway. I just thought it was funny. He knew the way I just think it's funny the way he was polishing this Kickstarter in a similar fashion, the way he was hammering it, where it's just like, it looked like he had no intent. He was just like, I'm staying busy. I'm polishing this side. I'm flipping it over. And I'm going to polish this little section.
It
and
just seems like so low on the priority list of polishing a kickstand when literally there's a houseplant stuck in a bike where the front tire should be, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that much I know about maintenance is that houseplants are not supposed to be where the wheels are, correct?
That is true.
So the kickstand should not be down while you're riding.
Correct.
Okay. And don't let your friends breathe on your bike. Otherwise, somebody will end up in the hospital.
Right.
3 golden rules.
That's it. That's it, baby. And Matt's been helping out. He comes in with the fender.
Yeah. But he's like scared of Jake. That's why he's helping out.
Yeah. Okay. And that also, this is like, this is
an abusive relationship already that you want so bad.
Yeah. Well, no, it's a bummer because it's they do this on the show all the time where they write something and then they forget or completely abandon the thing that they wrote. So when Jake first joins the cast, Matt is afraid of him, and that's the joke. And that's like for the first half of it. And then he realizes, oh, he's actually a really good guy, and I kind of have a little bit of a thing for him.
Clearly, that's what.
Yeah. And everybody's like, no, you're not like us. We can't accept you. And Matt's the one who's like, yes, you can, and you should, because he's a good person. And he's not scared of him anymore because he sees through that he's, a sensitive, swell, upstanding kisser. And
swell kisser.
Yeah. And now Matt's afraid of him again. Like, what has happened? Has it turned abusive, or did we just forget that Matt and he also had a connection and wrote a song together? And that's a bonding experience, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he needs somebody to sing to, like, these loving songs now that his sister's out of the picture,
Exactly.
He's just literally like, I have to look stage right to the next person, and it happens to be you. Yake, that's his sex name.
Ooh.
So Sly, yes, neglected child. That's all I learned in this scene. And then we're going to Sharkie's. And like we've mentioned before, they take the stage out when there's no band playing. And the arcade, did you notice that the Cyclops game, the very integral arcade game from episode 13 of the first season, it's fucking gone?
It's not there anymore.
Not there anymore. It was in the last episode because Mike is a video game enthusiast, and that's putting it lightly. He was checking to see all of the arcade machines and comparing them against actual arcade machines from that era.
Oh, that's rad.
They're all made up, but Cyclops is gone for an unnamed arcade game. I wonder what that choice was. Maybe it was used in another production of Our Town, perhaps. Oklahoma.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe so. Maybe so. Why would they make up a game name? Is that a branding thing?
It's a branding thing.
Okay, so
there are movies that
rules.
kind of get away with it that just have like second run arcade games, or they have some like beta tested games that never actually made it to market. Like those are up for grabs, and they're basically only used as props. So it's weird because they made like a plot point about this arcade game and how like what happens when you beat the Cyclops and blah blah blah, and it's like it has multiple scenes in that last episode of the first season. So it's odd they would just kind of abandon it. That's all. Isn't this the same scene that
maybe Dennis took it?
That's where Dennis is. He's inside the arcade game.
He's inside the arcade game. He like is the arcade game now.
Isn't this the scene that Sly steals a part from Mookie? Right?
One and the same.
Okay, and then he gets chased around by a bunch of bikers.
Yes.
That's it. That's in this.
Yeah, they're mad at him still, and with good reason. And like the whole band is mad at Sly.
Yeah.
And yeah, he tries to make up for it with bringing this Kickstarter here.
Valiant
that he stole
effort
from Mookie.
Sylvester from Mookie. How did you feel about that cosplaying as Mookie? Full method acting here, Zach. You wanted to pulverize him, right?
Yeah, I was feeling it. I was feeling the anger. I was like, that little crust bucket.
Crust bucket. Doing a little improv, going off script. I like you.
Yeah.
So we're gonna finish off this episode in the hospital. Now Sly has the broken leg. So are we supposed to believe that he literally got like beat up, like he was assaulted by this many middle-aged men, and his leg was broken? Like, that's dark if you think about it. Like, he took him out back, like casino style, and they're like, we're gonna teach this guy a fucking lesson and not have the authorities involved.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's what they wanted. That's what he wanted them to believe. That's what Sly told them, that it was all Mookie's doing.
That's dark, and now he doesn't have
actuality,
parents did not visit him in the hospital whatsoever. His brother
that's
either.
True.
You know,
no way. That's because he stole his model airplane and smashed it. His brother's not coming around anytime soon.
We freeze frame on a bed gag, a hospital sandwiching closing bed gag, and that's it. And I was actually like, I wrote here, I was like, there was zero music in this episode. There's no band talk whatsoever, and I was like, felt really deceived. I know we have a bunch more of these coming, but I was like, this episode sucked. I didn't even laugh at some fun stuff, and this was a terrible episode.
Yeah. I think it's one of my favorite freeze frames so far, I will say, even though I didn't care. And you know what? I enjoyed it mirthlessly.
Mirthlessly?
Yeah, I just like just seeing it, I recognized it for the art it was, with this bed gag, and Sly is getting squished, and all of his friends that just forgave him kind of are just laughing.
Yeah.
It's a great freeze frame. It's really good. It's really good. And it's like when you type LOL and you're not laughing at all. That's kind of how this was, where I was like, this doesn't lighten my spirit to look at it, but I recognize that it's beautiful.
What's the ratio, do you think, that of the LOLs that you've read in your life, that somebody actually laughed at something you said? Do you think it's like 50-50, or just
far
them?
Less.
Far less. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'll say, like, when I actually do laugh, I don't use LOL just as I think it's. I'm a cool guy. I don't know if you knew that, but I don't use LOL. But
been catching
I will. It's something somebody says, or like a meme or something, it genuinely makes me like make sound out of my mouth, and it surprises me enough. I'm like, oh, I'm genuinely laughing at that. You know, I want them to know, but it's less than 5% of the time.
You just describe what you've done.
I do. It's a stage direction.
Yeah, me laughing.
I'm mirthlessly laughing.
Hilarious.
So anyway,
yeah, I don't LOL either. I write it out. Typically, I write
but it's just like I'm acknowledging, heard and understood, like the military. Like I've seen your humor. I appreciate you. I'm just dealing with stuff today. I'm not actually laughing out loud.
Yeah. I try to be pretty honest with mine, but I know that most of the ones I've read are not genuine.
Yeah, it's just like that when somebody hearts a message, I'm like, you just don't want to talk back to me, but you're saying yes, I saw.
Yeah. I do surround myself with some pretty easy laughers. I think it's so I feel better about myself.
I love that. I need more of that.
Yeah. So when people say LOL, I'm usually like, yeah, they probably are. That's they laugh at everything.
I'm fucking hilarious.
Yeah, that was a good one. That is the correct response.
That's what I think about this episode. You fuckers. We killed it. Well, that's gonna do it for this episode. Do you have? I mean, there's no fucking awards to give out because there was no fucking shit about bands in this. So fuck you. I'm giving all my awards to Mookie. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
The good and bad ones. I just love the fact that middle 30s man is going to beat up a child. That's great.
Is there any way to find out how old Mookie from California Dreams is?
I told you.
Did you look?
He's 34.
You did look? He is?
Yeah, he's born in 59. Yeah. What? Yeah. Is he supposed to be? Because
I thought you were just
supposed to be like a rival fucking high schooler. Is that what he's supposed to? He looks so old. It's like Grease.
Pagliaro?
Yeah.
Eddie Pagliaro. That is his real name.
Yes.
Wait, that is Mookie's real name.
Yes.
Not the actor's name.
So he's definitely supposed to be playing like a New York Italian guy. Just like, why did Sharkie come out in this situation and be like, hey, bada bing, bada boom, get out of my establishment, you know?
Yeah, I wish he had. We haven't seen Sharkie again in years. I mean, oh yeah, he's got another credit. This actor, he was in The Wise Guy, the TV series called Wise Guy, and he played Danny Tessio. If you're curious, he was also in a movie called Ground Zero.
Okay,
it's an earthquake movie. Don't get excited.
I was excited. It was a 9/11 movie.
I know how you are. Now,
hey Zach, do you want to tell us maybe what this next episode's about?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if I'll do as well as our last guy, but
okay. It is called The Sly Who Came to Dinner.
Wait a minute. Okay, in my searching.
Yes.
Okay, you can cut out my silence as I'm reading this to make sure.
Trust.
Brentley Gore
has
a cat named Mookie. Look at that.
Mookie. So when we meet Brentley Gore for the second season finale in Nashville, we're going to ask him if he's named after that character.
That's awesome.
I mean, but there's so many Mookie cats out there. It's possible that it's just a coincidence.
Oh, okay. Mookie and Brentley hang per usual. Hashtag Brentley's basement. When I found him, he was pink color because of a rain that had made a pink reddish collar turn his fur. Collar turn his fur mukate color. Is that how you pronounce that color name? Mukate? Mookie the Mook for short. What is mukate? Mukate is a variety of jasper from Western Australia, used as a decorative material, and for its healing properties. It can be incredibly colorful. Most stones take on a high polish.
Oh no, it's another charging crystal.
Mukate is made up. It might be mukate. I don't know. There's an E at the end, and I wanna give a
mokite. Mokite.
Is it mokite?
Yes, I literally have that stone in my aquarium.
Mookaite.
Yes, it's an Australian stone.
For those who knew this whole time and who were screaming back as I was saying mukate. It's mukite. It's mukite, you mook.
It's pronounced bukkake.
Bukkake. That's sorry for the mix up.
Yes, Zach. Next episode. The Sly Who Came to Dinner. What do you think it's about?
Anyway, so it's Mookie, I think, because of the moo kites, not because of Mookie
Damn
the
it,
character.
dude, leave it alone.
That was worth it. Almost giving you a spit take. Okay. What is it called?
The Sly Who Came to Dinner. What do you think it's about, Zach?
I know this is a play on another thing, that something else came to dinner.
Is it The Spy Who Came to Dinner? Is that what it's?
The Sly Who Came to Dinner?
What do you think it's about? Are you looking
I think it's The Spy Who Came to Dinner. I was just seeing what the play was.
Is that right? Is that right? Am I
There is a spy movie and novel, an old one that's a spy who came to dinner.
Okay.
But this one's called Sly Came to Dinner. So I think this is gonna be Sly centric again. Boo. Boo. We did it. You know what? I've heard a lot less defending of Sly this episode. I
can't defend Sly in this episode in the Sly-tist, okay?
Hey, I've only heard you defend him when he's band manager, to be fair.
Yeah, seriously.
And when he's not band managing, there's not much to defend.
Yeah. Okay. No more stalling. What's this episode about?
I think Sly is going to come to dinner.
Okay, god damn it. That was a long time to wait.
I think he's gonna come to dinner, but it's gonna be I think he's gonna come incognito to a secret dinner. He's gonna be in disguise. I think Sly is gonna be in
Why would he be in disguise?
Because, and it's going to be a goofy disguise, like sunglasses or something.
All right.
But he's going to be meeting somebody. I keep wanting a meeting to happen. I realize this is not the first time that I've had a prediction that it was around a meeting.
Okay. Well,
I was wrong last time. So
that's what life's about. Okay. Do you want to know what actually? Yeah. I don't think there's actually a titular dinner. With his parents out of town, Sly moves in with the Garrisons in the hopes of winning over Samantha. So, lots to unpack just there. Sam lives with the Garrison now. We know we aren't going to see any of the other Garrison family. Now Sly moves in. It's like an orphanage there. But he ends up irritating everyone instead. Meanwhile, Tony and Jake believe that Tiffany's secret admirer is an obsessed stalker. So that's next week.
These B-plots love to have secret admirers. I mean, it was Tiffany Dennis with Tiffany.
It's so Dennis,
and then it was the nurse with Tony. And now, is it Dennis? Is that where he's been? It's still Dennis.
Dennis is frogging. Isn't that the term? Like the new term when somebody lives inside your walls? You know, they live inside your house without you knowing. It's PHROGGING, frogging.
Frogging.
There's been a couple documentaries about it, and it's like a real thing that they find cubby holes in the walls to just live in. That's what we think Dennis is doing.
That's horrifying, but it does sound like Dennis's style. I hope he takes the opportunity to shoot the next music video so we can get some more footage. Oh my God,
he get some good fucking role in that.
Seriously, think of the frog. Think of the angles from this little frog.
The frogging. Anyway, that's gonna do it for our episode of Surf Dudes with Attitude for season 2, episode 4. Sleazy Rider. This was actually an episode that I originally asked J. Anthony Frankie to be on, the guy who plays Jake, and he said yes, but we have to reschedule because of some scheduling stuff on his end. But
He was almost going to be on this episode.
Yeah, well, I was like, we need a Jake-centric episode for him to talk about. And I'm actually very glad he did not come on this episode because it's such a bummer shit episode that it would be hard for us to hide the fact that we're so disgusted with it.
Yeah, it's true. And we wouldn't have been able to ask him much. I mean, we would have just found a way. We would have talked to him about the music anyways.
Oh, for sure.
But
that's probably what we're planning on doing. We might just do like an interview with him as opposed to having him stumble along this plot with us, trying to remember stuff about happened a certain day 30 years ago. But we're interested to talk to him, and we're looking forward to it. So you guys want to support the show, it's going to be Surf Dudes with Attitude California Dreams Podcast.com and Surf Dudes with Attitude at gmail.com if you want to get a hold of us. Fan mail, hate mail, whatever. We'll read it all. On air. We're on Patreon. Please support the show there. We're on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook. Please give us a like and subscribe and a share and review us on iTunes and Spotify. That would be fucking awesome. We got a lot of cool stuff. We're almost halfway through the second season already. That's crazy. I don't know if I'd call this halfway through. Well, I know. I'm getting excited that we're like back in the thick of it, and I've really missed you, and we're back. We've got some fun stuff planned, so thank you again. Signing off for myself and George. This is Pete from New York City. Thank you for listening to Surf Dudes with Attitude, and we'll see you next week.
And this is George Howell from Hershey, Pennsylvania. Was that pretty good? I didn't really try.
Sounded just like him.
This is George Howell from Hershey, Pennsylvania.
He's so commanding. That's good. Did my dad just wake up and catch us?
Here. I'm back.
Sorry about eating the ice cream and smoking cigarettes, Dad.
Sounds.
We should do a freeze frame to end this.
Oh yeah,
just like the
let me get my bed.
So much. Okay.
Okay, I'm Zach, and good night.
Good night. And can you turn your love seat around before we go?
But the laughter continues.
Oh, bye, kids.
This has been a Waning Moon production.